D, board meeting. Chris is not able to be here this evening, so I will be facilitating. I'd like to start with our pledge of allegiance.
Before we start the meeting, we have to amend the agenda. The principal's report got left off, so in between numbers 7 and 8, I asked the board to amend the agenda to include principal's report.
I'll entertain
that motion, but I have one to add to it. Can we move the singular nomination that's in the consent agenda to executive session?
We're going to act on it after the executive session. So, that's correct. If we move it to executive, we have to act on it afterwards.
Yep.
We're going to need to give a reason for the executive session. So, contract issue.
I could, maybe you could help me with that.
Yeah.
That would be information regarding the nominee.
That'd be a contract.
Because they're not an employee, so let me get the right language for that.
I was on we have executive session on the agenda in case
Or
we
discipline of a student.
Got
So we have to say.
to amend.
Yeah. Just give me a minute.
Sorry to throw that in a second. But
Contracts, labor relation agreements with employees, arbitration or mediation, grievances or other tax grievances, pending or probable civil litigation, confidential attorney-client privilege that would not apply here, negotiation on real estate. How about this one? The appointment or employment or evaluation of a public officer or employee, provided that the public body shall make a final decision to hire or appoint a public officer or employee in an open meeting. And shall explain the reasons for its final decision during the open meeting. So it would be, we would be going to executive session, adding an amendment, amending the agenda, including an executive session. We have to take 2 separate votes. 3-1 for BSA, 1 BSA section 313, 1 number.
Is it A, A1?
No, it's just number 3.
Okay.
Number 3. The appointment or employment or evaluation of a public officer or employee.
Okay. So, I'd like to amend the agenda by adding the principal's report after the SVUESD report. Could I have a motion to do that?
Second.
Yes, Krista. Thank you. And a motion to add in the executive session 1 BSA 3133.
A7. Or A7, what are we doing? A3.
A3. The appointment.
And I'll second it.
And all in favor of both motions?
Aye.
That's a majority consent. Okay. Thank you. That would be a pleasure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are in the section with the public comment, and we have some
Come here electronically.
electronically. Would either of you like to comment?
Welcome. Good evening.
Welcome, then. Yes, hello. Thanks for being here. So we'll move on from public comment to consent.
How about the consent agenda till
Until
after the
after?
executive session?
We don't have operations, so we're in finance, and we have two sections. We have the treasurer's report. Thank you, motion from Cindy, second from Glenn. Any discussion? All in favor? You can say aye.
Aye.
And we have the homestead grant download. And I'm guessing, I'm hoping that you're gonna share a little bit about.
Williams provides us funds every year at about this same amount. We've used them in the past for trauma-informed trainings for teachers. This past year, we used it for two things, which I'm gonna share about tonight. One of them, some of the funds were used to help for an all-campus trip to Ramble Wild and also our book club that we started this year. And so they provide us these funds every year, and they really help to kind of fill in the gaps with a lot of projects and events, presentations that come to campus.
Thank you, Cindy. Motion to accept it from Cindy and second this. Feeling a little left out.
Give Stephanie a chance.
Sorry, Steph.
That's okay.
Any discussion? All in favor in accepting the Williams Homestead Grant Pownell Elementary $5,000 grant? Raise your hands. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There was not a policy meeting, and so we did not have to, we have no policies. The SVSU report. Glenn, what was that?
I've had nothing prepared. I've had it I should have, I would have.
Okay,
And probably next session, we should put an
Yeah.
agenda to have people nominated, because we've been
yes,
just temporary and Kristen. So
okay.
just continue that practice.
You have two, you held off doing a third until you got more people on board, right?
Yes, we have empty chairs.
So,
We still have two?
no, we're doing just per diem. You know, we didn't take an official vote on it.
Right.
So we're just.
It's, since it'll be 3 seats from each board. From every operating school district, there's 3 seats for every non-operating. Sandgate and North Bennington, it's 1 seat. So this board should have three full SVSU board members.
You thought we should just wait until Chris comes back?
Yeah, I think so.
forgot about that one.
So
Good
we're just,
reminder.
me and Chris will just continue.
Either of you have anything that you'd like to add?
They just went over the
We just went over the continuous plan.
continuous plan
As,
27.
Yeah. We've heard also. We also heard.
Yes.
Great, it's great. That takes us to 7A, the principal's report.
This evening, we have Bethany Wojcicki. For those who don't know her, she is the principal of Pownell Elementary School.
Okay, so this, I guess I really enjoy presenting, so. This is what you call a pechakucha. Pechakucha is a Japanese way of presenting where you do 20 slides for 20 seconds. So this will last no longer than ideally 6 minutes and 40 seconds. And it's just pictures, only images, typically not words. And so I included some of the pictures in case you can't see them when they come up here. I don't know though, maybe it's one of the timing they have.
Did the SAT work today?
Yes. We may have to go old school without the images up here. So I'll go through, you can try to hold me accountable for not going over my time limit, but what it is really we're only, oh, sorry, Jim, I'm gonna have to just pause
Take your
it
time,
and
Joe.
the share. I think it's, what's gonna happen
We're ahead of
is.
schedule.
And we promise it for you.
Well, I don't think it's gonna show the images up here, but you have them in front of
We
you.
had them.
Yeah.
They were
The
there.
first one. It just wasn't in the presentation mode. That's all. And, let's try one more time.
I really want to see the picture of you sitting on top of the bookshelf.
Yeah, it doesn't want to do the image. All right, we'll go through with the pictures in front of you. So the first picture that I have there is
So unfortunately, like cat teeth,
A-
you won't be able to get them.
is a retired teacher of ours, Miss Krista Bellini. Reason I included this is that we've been really blessed with a solid 4 to 5 retired teachers who come back to Pownell to sub for us. Miss Krista Bellini in this image was she taught mostly at the upper grade levels, particularly in fifth. And so here she is with our youngest kids in kindergarten, and she actually had she's now since subbed in our kindergarten first grade classrooms, which she did not think she would enjoy quite as much. She had a fantastic time. We're really grateful for our former teachers who will come back and sub for us. It's been really very beneficial this year. You flip to the next one, you'll see 4 ladies holding up a card. These are 6th grade students at Pownell, and at the beginning of every year, and then at the midpoint of every year, the beginning of the year, we have teachers lead expectations. We have stations throughout the campus. We have students who will, kind of follow along with the teachers in the first part of the year. When we come back from our Christmas holiday break, we will set it up and we have our 6th graders lead. So the 6th graders are in charge of these different stations. They review expectations with our entire campus. They do it in a way where we're really trying to build in leadership and have our 6th graders and our 5th graders seen as leaders on campus. They've also pushed into our lower grades, our kindergarten and our first during specials, and they're just kind of a buddy system with them. So we're really grateful for those leaders on our campus. Below that, we have a student who, this is a picture, we have many pictures from our Ramble Wild field trip. The goal is to bring our entire school to Ramble Wild. Ramble Wild is located across from Jiminy, and it is a ropes course. So it's in the middle of the woods. It's we got to go, the majority of this was done in the fall, so the leaves were changing. It was beautiful, beautiful weather. We would take a grade level, and one class would do a nature walk while the other class was doing the ropes course, and then they would switch. We had a picnic. It was a fantastic experience. We had students helping one another. We had a lot of kids who were very nervous. There's a zip line through it at the end. And we watched students lead one another, encourage one another. Some who had mobility issues or challenges that they worked through with one another, a really rewarding experience. And we have a wonderful grant that helps us do this as well, so that we're able to bring everybody to this location. And I had a lot of hesitant teachers who came back saying that was a fantastic trip. It was a little nerve-wracking at first to bring everybody to a ropes course. The next one, Pownell Valley and Pownell Volunteer Fire Departments asked us to name their fire trucks. And so we did this last year. We did it again this past December. And then they make up these little plates that they place on the front of the fire trucks. And when they did some safety training with us earlier this year, the kids could see the names that they had chosen. All the classes make a submission, and then we have like a campus-wide vote. There's a lot of them, and we have historically done this around the holidays, so we get a lot of like Santa's sleigh and like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. But we also have some really brilliant, I present pictures, and they kind of come up with a name for those. A great connection with our Pownell and Pownell Valley Fire Departments to do this. Kind of going along with the community part below that is our choir that performed at the tree lighting in Pownell. It's my first visit to the tree lighting in Pownell. A wonderful community experience. Our choir sounded amazing and was also another place where a lot of those who were a part of Pownell Elementary at some point in their journey also were there. And so I just, when we talk about the Pownell community, it is a really close-knit, involved, wonderful community that I love to see our kids be a part of as well. This was my principal elf on a shelf. Actually, it was principal elf on a bookshelf. And I sat there one day when the kids came into school, and like, you talk about the best facial expressions as kids walked into that building. I put a little like Hershey Kiss bowl at the bottom, and they walked in. I really just wanted to see what the reaction would be this year, and they, oh my gosh, they ate it up. They loved it. And so I would like to build on this, where we maybe integrate, some kind of learning experience with that, or also they get to vote on where I'm going to be, or that they get to make some kind of argument of why I should be in their classroom. So some ideas are percolating for me on that one, but this was just me trying to have some fun.
That's the first.
That's the first idea, yeah.
Great.
But the kids some were very confused, and some loved it. But yeah, it was a good time. Some of these will show in some more. The next one is a picture of me and our GIST kids program that we're trying to grow. Obviously, like access, we're working on to get the kids to the mountain, and also finances of skiing. But it is a really wonderful program. One of the half days, I will go up to the mountain myself and take some runs with the kids after their lessons. And this was not a particularly great, it was right when we almost lost all of our snow before we then got another snowstorm. But it was the last day that they were going to have GISP. And so I was able to make it to the mountain and get, 3 or 4 runs in with them. And I will tell you, nothing makes you feel older than when you start to ski with young kids who just like bomb down the hill and have no worry about breaking bones or anything. Our next one is our 100 days. Threw it out to our students to dress up as if they were 100 years old. And they loved it, they had a great time. The one on the far right was also one of my favorites because he brought a little dog with him. So he has like a little, not a real dog, a little stuffed dog that he brought with him. And he has a cane too. You can't quite see that off to the side. Mr. Robertson's over there on the left, my assistant principal. We had a blast with that. We had a group of 2nd and 6th graders and a 4th grader. I think it was a total of about 6 students who were in the honk performance that the high school put on. This is Mr. Roja, who's one of our teachers. She went to the performance. We actually had a bunch of teachers and staff that went to the performance. And this is a picture of the 2 girls that are in her class. But was really proud of our kids. They had to audition for it, and then they had to attend rehearsals, and then of course do a weekend of performances. The next one is it just looks like a group image. That group image is our first book club. We put out a book. It was called Wish Tree, or it is called Wish Tree, and it is a book that really is approachable for any grade level. It's from the perspective of a tree, talking about how the neighborhood is changing and conflict that comes along with that. And for our younger kids, their parents could read it with them. And then for our older kids, they could read along with their siblings, or they could read it on their own. We provided free copies. And then halfway through the book, we had a book club where we had questions. We broke into groups. This was one of the groups that was there. And we had a discussion about it for 30 minutes. We did an arts and craft project for 30 minutes, and then we ate. We had dinner for 30 minutes. Wonderful first time, and then we did it again at the end of the book. Wonderful book for us to read together, and we loved it as a different way to bring our community into the building, but still have it something that's academic based. The image of what looks like a bunch of trash bags is plastic we collected. We raised enough plastic in pounds, which we had to gather 1,000 pounds. which at first I was like, no big deal. And then you realize like all of that plastic is like 150 or 200 pounds. So lots of plastic. Again, talking about our community, the Pownell community brought lots of plastic to us. They bring it to our front doors. They'd have their kids bring it in. A lot of farms locally would drop it off. And we eventually raised enough for our bench. So that was one drop off, 2 truckloads, 1 drop off. I think we did about another 2 or 3 more of those. Then we have this is first grade, catching the leprechaun. Just like, it was a cute picture of just the fun that we have and the creativity that our students have. They all would explain how they're gonna catch the leprechaun. He escaped us again this year, so we'll have to try again next year. And then at the bottom of that page is our drumming, where each grade level gets to practice drumming. And drumming for success, and it was they have their specials and they would practice drumming for a final performance where everybody attends and does a performance of the drumming. So our 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students did their presentation for the whole school to watch. It was very loud at Pownell for that week, but we were really grateful to have that and the connection that it made with many of our kids. If you flip it over, you'll see, it's hard to see, there's a puppeteer who's holding 2 sticks and it's attached to a dinosaur. And the dinosaur is actually eating one of our students. This was the marionette company that came to our campus and presented to us. They were amazing. They did a story on stage, but they also would come off stage and interact with the kids. And then afterwards talked about the puppets, how they made the puppets, the creativity behind it. Just a fantastic experience for all of our kids. They were really engaged and they had very creative ways to create their puppets. The next 2, so we have the one where he's got the cap on his head. This was a Williams visit where they were talking about parts of the brain, and they had the kids put on those covers over their heads, and then they were drawing the different sections of their brain. Everybody participated in that, including teachers. And then the next one shows one of our Williams students playing soccer. And this spreads, we had 1st graders, 4th graders, and 5th graders in there. And they were all playing out on the field. So every Friday we have Williams students who come, they eat lunch with the kids, they go out to recess with the kids. We've had Williams come and present in classrooms. We have Williams tutors who come and meet with kids, especially those who maybe can use a little bit of a challenge. We've had Williams in our building a lot this year. It's been wonderful. And the kids love this. A lot of them were athletes. A lot of them would talk about, yeah, I like being around kids, but I want to be a doctor and I want to work with kids. I want to be a pediatrician. So the kids get to hear different opportunities that exist out there as well. We had Teacher Appreciation Week last week where we ate a lot of food, a lot of pies. This was from Trace Ninos and North Adams. And then, of course, some of my favorite moments this year, Friday Funnies, that happen every Friday, a joke that the kids submit. I pick one out every Friday and they get to read it over the announcements in the morning. These 2 are siblings. So the ones that are wearing the 2 blue shirts are siblings that did it together. And then the Roys in Pownell, if you know the Roys. This is me standing with my little mini-me because I do a principal of the day where kids turn in tickets and they get to basically be me for the day. And so this one in particular dressed like me and she had her hair pulled up. She was wearing a flannel shirt. I give them a little walkie and I put them on a different channel. They get my keys, which lets them go up and down the elevator a lot. That they really like that. And they walk around. I have a whole list of stuff that they do. We give treats to teachers and we just hang out all day. And they, I didn't really expect it to blow up like it did this year. And so I actually had to cut it off at one point in time because I just didn't have enough weeks left in the school year. But we have had phenomenal principals that have followed me along for the day. Yeah, they've been every single one of them has been amazing. Yeah. I mean, every single one of them at the end of the day says, Miss Lorge, my feet hurt. And I'm like, yeah, they do. Like that means you're doing your job. And so of course I post it. All of this is posted on Facebook. I really like to spread the great things that our kids are doing. And the last one that I had, the baseball field, was a personal, professional highlight for me. And that was throwing out the first pitch at Pownell Little League this past, 2 weeks ago. They invited me to do that, and
Is it a strike?
it was not a strike. I knew you were gonna ask me about that. It was not a strike. It was a little high, but it did not go to the backstop. Thankfully, my catcher, who was one of my students, was able to be, quick enough to grab that. I am very grateful. The last picture that I just put on the closing slide just sums it all up. The kids that are just so excited to come to you. They are so happy. There are struggles in education every day, but overall, I'm very blessed to be where I'm at. I'm very grateful for supportive staff and a board, superintendent, administration, and there's wonderful things happening in Pownell. This is like my moment to share that. I did this last year and was like, I can't wait to do this again next year. It just really sums up a lot of what gets hidden sometimes in our stories, and the story of Pownell and many other schools, but I'm biased towards Pownell, is that there are wonderful interactions and things happening. So thank you guys. Yeah. Sorry I couldn't show them up here.
Yeah.
I want to tell you how much I appreciate all of these pictures. It makes me feel like I want to be a kid again and in school again. And you didn't mention that you were a guest author or a guest who had books at the library that you were recommending as the what do they call it? The Star of Pownell or something like that. Or the I just remember seeing the books and reading the books that you had recommended. So thank you for being such a good part of our community.
Yeah.
Yes.
You mean at the public library?
Yes.
Yes. So I had the public and that's been another wonderful connection in Pownell, is that the public library has really, they were part of our book club. I didn't mention that too, but they were part of it. They were there. And then, they had asked me about featuring choosing a book that I enjoyed. I love that stuff. That just makes me so happy. And so, yes, I had chosen a book, and then they I did a little write-up about it, and they featured it. So it's a fantastic community, and one that I drove through a lot growing up in North Adams and didn't really explore or know. And I still have a lot to learn, but I will say it is, the more you get to know, the more families you get to know, it's just astounding. It really is, truly. So, thanks.
Thank you.
So at Williams, which office are you, I teach there, but which office are you connected with? So if I wanted to send students that way, how do you organize all of
And
that?
it's CLIA, the Center for Learning,
Okay.
and Jennifer Swope is our connection.
Okay.
She gets, and then I also have someone on staff who's our community liaison. And we just brainstorm. I was like, hey, our library needs to be reorganized. So the students at Williams who have service days will come up and organize the library. But yeah, CLIA, I think is that they do everything with us. Yeah. It's been, and we did a good amount last year, but this year it was even better. Great, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys. I did more than 6 minutes and 40 seconds.
All right, the agenda's lifetime.
It's great.
Moving to our superintendent's report.
I will pass to you, this is warrant signature. Sent to us by Director of Finance, Renee Gordon. You probably heard this, but I'm gonna keep repeating this so everyone hears it. The last day of school for students, assuming that we don't have any other emergency days. Hoping that, I always wait till after May 1st before I announce it. So with 2 snow days, the last day for students will be Friday, June 14th. The last day for our support staff will be Monday, June 17th, and all other staff, teaching staff, professional teaching staff, their last day is 6/18. They have 2 days of professional learning, contractual obligations. So assuming that, and I hope that, though I do remember, I'm old enough to remember my senior in high school. I won't say what year that was. It was
a snow day well into May. It must have been local at that point, because it snowed on Mother's Day at my house last year.
It snows at
Um,
your place.
All
Wow.
the
The other thing I want to prepare you for is next month, I hope that, we have 3 new members, so you may not know this. In the fall, we contracted with New England School Development Council, known as NESDEC, to do a best use of facilities study for all the schools in the Union Elementary District. So it's done. I have it in draft form. I've been emailing back and forth with corrections when the report came back. I sent it all out to principals and directors to take a final look at it, make sure that what the report says from your building perspective or your area of responsibility is correct. There were a number of corrections, mainly around staff size, like 4 special ed teachers in your building or 5. That those type of corrections, and is the space adequate or inadequate, which is a judgment call on the part of the principals. So what does this study show? It's going to have demographic information, what our district looks like. It's going to have enrollment projections going forward. What are we going to see for enrollments in our schools? It's going to have a school facility review. So each of our school buildings have separate reviews in it. It has a review of all the district schools, so that also includes the middle school is part of this study. To answer hopefully once and for all, is that option to send all 6th graders to the middle school? We've heard so much in the past, and I still have people telling us and telling the board that the middle school was built for all 6th graders. The only ones who send 6th graders there are Bennington Elementary School. So we needed accurate information about, is that even possible anymore? A school that was built almost 20 years ago, and the way, human creep comes into a building, we need more and more space. Is that even possible if the board even wants to entertain it? So there will be options for the board to discuss. Of course, that involves another school district, so even if you wanted to, there would be approval involving another school district. There'll be things about the conditions of the school buildings, age of the buildings, square footage. Is there adequate space for all student delivery of services? So that, I will send it to you. I'm not going to pass it out next week. I want you to have time to look at it at the next meeting. So hopefully, I have another meeting with NESDEC this Thursday morning that hopefully will result in the final edition of this best use of facilities study. And then I will send it with the board packet next month. And I will ask the chair to put it on as an agenda item. It is a report that is meant to start discussion. You won't find anything definitive in it. That's just any changes or decisions is the board's decision, not NESDEC. They're looking at our facilities and hopefully telling us what's possible. It is eye-opening when I look at it, and I see the age of our buildings. We don't own or operate any new facilities. There are some highlights that as we do future budget planning, hopefully that can help the board to create what needs to be renovated, where do we spend that priority? So, and it will talk about options too. So it's here early, and I don't expect at the June meeting we will have any solutions at all. This could be a multi-year study that what this board will want to do, if anything, with this report. Why did I want it? Those who don't remember and those new board members. We operate all our elementary schools the same way. Is that really the best option that we should be doing? Right? There's been so many options floating. We need this information to make that discussion. I mean, that is, should one of our elementary schools be converted into an early education center. And the students who go there get dispersed to the remaining elementary schools. You know, do we have the potential to make any one of these schools an academy that specializes in one particular learning area, whether it's STEM or arts and science, music, whatever. It's all a possibility at this point. As our motto here is imagine the possibilities, that's what we'll do with this report. So NASDAQ has no authority. I don't want anybody to panic and think that, you know, things are gonna happen. It's to start the discussion of whether we're happy the way things are operating, or do we think we need to make changes? That's coming. I thought it would be on this month's agenda, but maybe it's fitting that it'll be on our last meeting of this school year. And then we do not typically meet in July. We meet again in August. So June will be our last meeting, unless we need a special meeting in July. Sometimes we do because of some issue at a building or employment issue. It's rare because a lot of the people that we need at meetings disappear in July. So traditionally, we do not meet in July. June will be our last meeting in July. And we won't meet in July, and then we'll have one on our August meeting.
With the NASDAQ report, will there be any kind of summary or statement coming from you or anyone, or is this just NASDAQ stuff coming in there? Like, or will you weigh in this?
I will have my thoughts on this. Yes.
I mean, but will we get those before, like in the packet kind of thing?
I don't know if I'm comfortable giving my thoughts in advance. I'll give you the report.
Best not.
Because I don't want to influence anybody else's opinion on this. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, you know, I'm very happy to wait for your response.
Yeah, I want you to be free to draw your own conclusions, you know, before I say anything that may influence it. Nothing that's, and it's easy for me to say this because we have new members that have been here a while. Nothing that anyone who's been listening hasn't heard before.
Does the length of the document qualify as summer reading assignment?
There's 122 pages.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sounds like
Yeah.
it's nice.
That's why I think that, you know, it'll be in the packet. Put it on an agenda item for more of a general discussion. I would think that the chair, if they want to move forward it, should form like an ad hoc committee of this committee who wants to meet exclusively on this topic, or continue at the full board meeting, but put it on a regular agenda item. The other thing that I had a meeting with all, this is kind of related, but with all board chairs this week. We had a meeting to talk about the structure of the SVSU. Where do we have redundancies? Where could we have savings? So that was a 2-hour meeting yesterday, and those meetings are going to continue so that the MAU board chair, the SV chair, the Union Elementary chair, and the chair of the Arlington School District. Talked about everything from governance issues to economy. So I'm also excited about moving forward with those discussions too. And Cindy remembers this, and Sandy and Jeff. We used to be all separate elementary districts, and there was under Act 46 forced merger of the elementary districts. In my view, it has gone smoother than I think some might have anticipated. This board is a result of that consolidation, and I think this board functions pretty well when we can get it fully staffed with members. So looking at our facilities, looking at our structure, is always important as we, there's pressures from funding, ESSER funds going away, or let's say the ESSER credit card is going away, and pressure on property taxes, directives from the governor about educational spending in Vermont. So all things that, we just can't ignore. We have to move forward with these discussions. So. Look forward to it. That's my report.
I will not be giving a chair's report because I am not the chair. And so we'll wait for Chris to come back. I'm so sorry. There is a budget status and student enrollment in your package, should you like to look at them. So that takes us to the executive session.
Sometimes you do two separate votes, one for each reason.
Thank you. So I'd like to entertain that someone to make a motion to go into executive session for 1 VSA 313A7, the academic records or suspension or discipline of students.
Commission.
So, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. And also to go into executive session, 1 VSA 313. A3, with the whole acronym.
Yeah, it's 1 VSA 313A3, the appointment or employment of
Personnel.
personnel. Yep.
Personnel. Can I have a motion to go into executive?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you.
And you to tell Richard McCarthy that you will return to open session to take action. You may or may not, but you still got to approve the minutes like you haven't done.
Yes.
So let's first approve going into executive session. All in favor? And Richard, we definitely come out and we may be making a motion.
I anticipate we'll be taking some action because you at least have to approve the minutes.
Sure. And we're not including anyone else.
You're
Just
asking the superintendent.
We're asking the
Yep.
superintendent to join us as well. Come back in?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Motion to come back in?
I'll make the motion, come back into session.
And take a second. 1 second. Great, thank you. So we have one item left, and it is the motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
I'll make the motion to approve as written.
Second.
Is that how we're doing it from now on? We have to go like this though, too.
That's right. Any discussion? In favor of approving the consent agenda as written?
Aye.
Say aye.
To adjourn.
I have a question.
Forgive me.
I see field trips on here. Always in the past, if there was a field trip that the board it came on the agenda and we approved it. Now, I heard there's one going on in Woodford.
If it's overnight or out of state, it comes to the board.
It's out of state.
I don't have it.
So I brought that I have a Woodford student, so I had mentioned it to Sandy just in casual conversation that we were going, and she told me that. So then I had a conversation with Megan Mezcat a few weeks ago and brought it to her, and she said, I submitted the paperwork and signed off on it a long time ago. I'm hoping it was approved at the beginning of the year and that maybe Sandy had just missed a meeting.
Oh.
That was kind of like her hope. So
No, there isn't any on the agenda for tonight. That's all.
the field trip is Friday to the Bronx Zoo.
They do not come. Oh, I thought that was approved. I thought I'd seen
Yeah, I
it.
don't think I saw it.
Uh,
I mean, I missed the January, it wasn't February or March, and
I missed October. This one needed to
I'm
mention
just
that.
throwing out that I did bring it to her attention a couple weeks back, hoping that there was gonna be time, and then, well, it's Friday.
make a motion.
Go ahead. If you feel better to do it.
Well,
Since, I mean,
out of state.
I assume since we do have a group going out of state, I'd like to, if we want to meet later in the week to do this, make a motion, assuming that, it's approved at the district level, that we approve this field trip.
So the motion is to approve the
approve the field
field
trip.
trip, providing that it has been
Approved by the
Approved by-
administration, which means that we've checked that it has the right number of chaperones and background checks.
Yes, administration and,
And-
Yep, so I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Field trips do not go to my office, but
Yes.
I will check and pursue, so.
Any discussion? All those in favor of allowing this motion to allow the students from Woodford to attend the Bronx Zoo on Friday?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay.
Are you a chaperone?
Yes.
I'm still.
Enjoy the Bronx Zoo.
Well, we won't be approved, no.
So now we can make a motion to leave, to adjourn, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Cindy. Any discussion? All those in favor?
I